Good morning, everyone. Let us start off with our gathering hymn, which is in the gray hymnal. We sing of golden mornings, number 44. Number 44 in the gray hymnal. Please stand in body or spirit as you are able.
Hello. You did not come here today accidentally, wandering in from someplace. You were looking for a place of belonging, a place filled with caring. You may have been seeking something larger than yourself, hoping and seeking. Here is a beloved community, a place to find safety, peace, and security. This place does not put fences around love, but rather it is a community that holds itself to all the possibilities of love, a place to nourish your soul and share your gifts, whatever they may be. Take a moment, if you will, and smile at those around you. Give a little wave, and wave at the folks on the camera, seeking this connection at their own place. Welcome home. Welcome to this place of worship.
The shared affirmation of this congregation includes the ideas of hope, freedom, and joy. What a wonderful reminder as we begin our time together. Please join me in speaking aloud this promise we make to each other. The words are printed in your order of service. Love is our doctrine. Compassion is our way. Here we seek to create a joyful home for free religious exploration, build a community of caring fellowship, nurture the hopes, and serve the needs of our world. The longer, warmer days of spring bring hope of change and new beginnings. We light these chalices as a reminder of the warmth and the light of this community, the beauty of nature as it wakes up and offers its abundance. We light 3 chalices as we begin our Sunday services here at UUCS. The first is for this congregation, all who are gathered here, the members, friends, and guests, and those watching us on YouTube. Welcome. The next is for our partner church in Szymanfalva, Transylvania, Romania. And we light our lantern for the children and youth, both those in our religious exploration program and children everywhere. Please join me in singing the flame into life.
Thank you. Can I have everyone young or young at heart come up front with me, please? I'm excited to see you guys, so excited. Okay, so it's April. It's the first week of April. That means we have a new theme. Our theme for this month is joy. Who here likes to be happy? Oh, good. What's something that makes you happy?
I like being happy when somebody is nice to me.
You like to be happy when somebody is nice to you. That does make me happy too. What else makes you happy? Yes. Spending time with your family. That's a good and friends. Your water bottle. You know, my water bottle has, or one of my old water bottles has so many stickers on it, and I put all kinds of things on it that made me happy. Absolutely. Oh. Does anyone like to laugh? Yes, okay, good. I'm glad. So here we go. I got a couple jokes for you. Where do you learn to make ice cream? From the, I don't know that. Okay, here you go. You ready? In Sunday school. Okay. What's the difference between a piano, a fish, and a pot of glue? Okay, you can tune a piano, but not a fish. I knew you'd get stuck on that one. Okay, here we go. I got a story for you guys. This story is called The Wise Fool and the King. Once upon a time, in a small kingdom, there lived a king who prided himself on being serious and wise. He was a good and fair king who spent his days attending to all the matters of the kingdom, but he rarely smiled. One day, a wandering fool, this is what they called the court jesters, it was the court jesters' job to make the kings and queens laugh, but often the jesters would sneak in a little bit of truth-telling too. The jester arrived at the palace wearing colorful clothes and a hat adorned with jingling bells. The fool danced into the court, laughing and juggling, much to the amusement of everyone but the king, that is. The king was unimpressed. "What use is this foolishness?" he asked. "Life is serious, and your antics serve no purpose here." The fool bowed and replied, "Your Majesty, I respect your wisdom. So may I ask you a serious question?" "Of course," replied the king. Serious questions were, after all, his favorite type of questions. "What is the purpose of life?" asked the fool. The king thought for a moment and said, "To live wisely, make decisions for the betterment of the kingdom, and to leave a legacy." The fool laughed, his bells jingling. "A noble answer, but tell me this. When was the last time you laughed, danced, or did something just for the fun of it?" The king frowned. He couldn't remember. The fool continued, "Your Majesty, wisdom is important, but joy gives wisdom its light. It is in laughter and play that we remember why we toil and strive. Life is not only about legacy, it's about being alive in this very moment." To prove his point, the fool taught the court a silly game where even the sternest ministers giggled like children. The king, initially resistant, was soon drawn in, laughing as he hadn't in years. At the end of the day, the king said, "You have taught me a lesson greater than I imagined. Wisdom is indeed not diminished by silliness. It is enriched by it." From that day on, the king made time for laughter, play, and foolish things done simply for the fun of it. And the kingdom became not only prosperous, but joyful. So remember to laugh, because we want to be happy and we want a life filled with joy. And oh my goodness, here we go. I'm not done. Are you ready for this? Why are birthdays good for your health? Oh, Caleb's raising his hand. He heard me this morning, didn't he? I know. Okay, here we go. Studies have shown people who have more birthdays actually live longer. So guess what I have here? I've got a couple birthday cards. I've got one for Quinn, who I'm going to give this to her grandma because I know that she's not here today. Is Joven here today? No, Joven? Does anyone else have an April birthday? Remy, you have an April? When's your birthday, Remy? November. You know what? Come and visit me in November, and I'll give you a card then. Sound good? November 14th. That'll be here before you know it, huh? And you'll be wiser because you'll be a year older, huh? Okay. And And then Miss Molly asked me to remind everyone that we have the Easter egg hunt coming up in just a couple of weeks on a Saturday, and she is hoping for more volunteers. So if any of you are able to help out with these kids and a lot of other kids that come from the communities for the Easter egg hunt, she would greatly appreciate it. Just reach out to her. Oh, and we have eggs to stuff. And so if you can't be there on Saturday to help out, if you want to just stuff some eggs for the Easter egg hunt, that would also be greatly appreciated. Okay, and with that, we can make the love arch. Thank you, everyone.
Wherever you walk, walk in love. Wherever you walk, walk in peace. Wherever you walk in beauty all around you. Our hearts go with you. Wherever you walk in love. Wherever you walk in peace. Wherever you walk in beauty all around you. Our hearts go with you.
There are many who believe the earth has much to teach us, but we have forgotten how to listen and how to see. There are spiritual practices that honor the natural cycles of life, honor nature, honor the earth and all that is upon her, with respect and with reverence. There is a meme that says, there is no planet B, or at least we haven't found one yet. In other words, Earth is home, where we exist. We may find someplace in the future a planet B, but for now, we also need to keep this planet, this Mother Earth, happy and healthy. This is the place that needs our compassion and our gratitude. It may take more than one movement, more than one effort to make a difference. But perhaps, just perhaps, if we all send a little energy to our earthly heart, then we may initiate a small bit of healing. If you are inclined, take just a moment to settle in your seat and send some healing light to our planet Earth. Breathe in. Breathe out. Offer compassion to the earth and everything upon her. Breathe in. Breathe out. Offer gratitude to the earth and everything upon her. Breathe in. Breathe out. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Rhonda Holt. I'm your Lifelines Ministry representative today, and we have several joys and sorrows to share. Sarah Pickett wrote for Teresa Farnham. Teresa Farnham's husband, Bruce, is in the hospital and not doing well. Please send healing thoughts. Another sorrow is Keith York's sister, Mary Hart, died this week. Mary is a long-term member of this congregation. We send our support. This one is unsigned. We attended the April 5th rally and were met with the largest and most loving group of like-minded people. We are proud of everyone who fought for our democracy. Andy Driscoll writes, sadness for me and the Driscoll family. This week, my favorite cousin, Susan, died after a rapid journey with cancer. We were able to visit days before her death. We reminisced about our shared great-grandfather who helped establish the St. Paul, Minnesota UU Church. Debbie Portis writes, I am grateful that my husband's Alzheimer has not gotten worse. Kathy Subert writes, I just heard this morning that Mary Murphy Casey broke her hip. I do not know where she is getting treatment, but I will update as I know. We light one more candle for those private joys and sorrows that remain unspoken. Lifeline's ministers are our shared ministry team for congregational care and support. If you or someone you know needs help in times of crisis, illness, or life transition, please contact either our minister or a team member. You can identify us by our lavender stoles and name badges. We are here to listen and support. You can stop by the Lifelines table in the fellowship hall after the service, or you can reach us by the email listed in the order of service by leaving a message on the phone line at the church or at the uusalem.org.
You may remain seated to sing the heart song. It's not in the teal hymnal 1031. 1031. Filled with loving kindness. 1031.
I Wandered, Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth. I wandered, lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of the bay. 10,000 I saw at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon my inward eye, which is the bless of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils.
I hope you noticed that just a few weeks ago, the earth moved silently into a new season of the year, as it always does, like an ever-turning wheel. It's spring. Spring, a season of growth. It's a time for those things that seem to sleep or dormant, things that maybe to our ancient ancestors may seem to have died. Time for them to awaken, to burst into life. Over many centuries, this season has been observed with varied acknowledgments and celebrations. It's that balance of dark and light, heaven and earth. And with the sunrise on the first day of spring, perhaps ancient rituals may be renewed. For instance, an elderly man, perhaps a druid alone in the woods, stirs a goblet of wine 3 times 3 before offering a toast to the spirits of spring. Children in a daycare center of a Greek Orthodox church dye hard-boiled eggs a rich red to share as gifts and offerings to celebrate the miracle of life renewed. The citizens of a small town in Scotland march through the hills and meadows outside their village, banging pots, blowing whistles, and ringing bells to celebrate the arrival of spring. An Irish lad dons the mask of the Green Man and dances on nimble feet through the streets of his village, where its citizens are celebrating the greening of the earth. And in the cherry orchards of eastern Oregon and Washington, the farmers are up with the sun to prune the trees, readying them for the harvest to come. All of these and more are ways of welcoming spring in the 21st century. Simple, timeless. All are traditions associated with the coming of spring. And since the beginning of our species, humankind has celebrated the new life of spring, particularly in parts of the world where winters are cold. And in generations past, food was scarce. Now, there are many ways to look at defining the word spring. A spring is a source of water that shoots up from the ground. It's a coiled wire that jumps back into its original size after being depressed. It's an act or an instance of leaping up or forward. It's a quality of resilience. To spring is to come into being, to leap or to jump up suddenly. Maybe some of these are what the word spring means to you. Some of its many definitions, and yet, the anticipation of the coming of the season of spring is greatly welcomed by most people as a whole, I think, especially here in the Pacific Northwest, where our winters are dreary and gray and wet and often cold to the bone. It comforts us to look for those signs of life renewed. One aspect that all the festivals and celebrations around springtime have in common, not only the equinox but beyond, is to honor the beginning of new life. There's a burst of growth as the trees bud and bloom and new leaves appear and flowers and baby birds cry from nests. And maybe in the farms there's lambs and calves frolicking in the fields. And baby animals of all kinds begin to venture out of the dens where they were born to explore the world around them. Spring is about new birth, and in particularly about new life, leaping forth from the egg, which is the perfect embodiment of new life itself, the perfect symbol of spring. This complex dance of lengthening daylight and springing forward of new things is acknowledging and honored in our UU principles, one of which states, we acknowledge the interdependent web of all existence and acknowledge our place in it. As UUs, we honor the cycle of nature and we recognize the many ways the changes of the seasons are celebrated in our own community and around the world. As Unitarian Universalists, we work together to understand and honor the many diverse traditions, both spiritual and non-spiritual, as part of the cultures of the peoples of our world. It's the basis of our covenant with one another. When I was a child, long ago, until I was just over 10 years, I lived on a 53-acre farm at the top of North Mountain in northeast Pennsylvania. I lived there with my two siblings, my mother, my aunt, and my grandmother who owned the farm and the big farmhouse we lived in. And across the road was a big red barn. Now, my father was in the Navy, and he was a very infrequent visitor until he retired after 30 years when I was almost 11 years old. Now, the slope next to the road leading to the barn was covered in daffodils in the months of March and April. Oh, I loved watching for those daffodils to bloom every spring. I remember the poem by William Wordsworth and how it always set my heart in gladness as it danced with the daffodils and the jonquils, even today at age 72. The sight of those daffodils nodding in the breezes meant the cold and snowy season was done, and there'd be more time outside. The robins sang in the morning, and I got to eat breakfast on the sun porch before school, watching the sun rise over the valley. Our house faced east, and looking over the whole valley where the morning sun rose way down there over a ridge, and it painted the sky in pinks and oranges and yellows. As I would eat my breakfast out on the sun porch, I remember I would feel so very happy every day. I could see the yellow school bus coming down the road about half a mile or so to take me to school, and I had plenty of time to grab my jacket and head outside. We didn't carry backpacks back then. Maybe some kids had just a book bag. But I would often take some of those daffodils to my teacher, wrapped in newspaper. We didn't have paper towels either, or plastic bags. Springtime was a happy time. In April, the lilacs would begin to bloom, and their fragrance is still my most fragrant scent, the smell that brings me the best memories of my childhood. My grandmother had a very large flower garden. And I also began to realize that my grandma would begin to till the vegetable garden to plant the rows and rows of foods we would have as part of our meals through the summer, fall, and canned for the winter. Now, hers wasn't one of those small patches with a smattering of carrots and peas and cucumbers. but a very large garden that took lots of cultivating and nurturing and weeding. And as the oldest of 3 children, I often had to help with those tasks, which I think maybe formed the foundation of my spiritual and physical connection with the earth and nature. But at 8 and 9 years old, it was tedious. But it certainly has solidified my love of the one I call Mother Earth. Now, I remember one year when I was maybe 5.5 or 6.5 years old, something like that, my grandmother gave me a few beans to plant. Now, maybe she wanted to teach me something about giving me purpose and giving me a connection with nature and the work that she did to create this home. Or maybe she just wanted me out of her hair and out of her way as she worked through the big garden and was tired of my moaning and groaning about wanting to go play. But to me, those beans were like gold. I held them tenderly in my hand as I raced down a slope away from Grandma's garden with my little plastic shovel in my other hand. I had watched Grandma many times get the ground ready, so I made a little patch of tilled earth, made sure there were no weeds, and I planted my small row of green beans. I tended those beans all through the spring and early summer. I watered them from my little bucket. I pulled the weeds. I was thrilled when the first seedlings pushed up through the dark earth. I was even happier when the plants grew their first leaves and then flowers. And when the first tiny green beans began to form, oh, they were the most beautiful beans in the whole world. I had grown something by myself. I had given life to something tangible. When that first bean was big enough, I picked it and ate it raw, right there on the patch of grass next to my little garden. It was the best green bean I had ever tasted. Even now, green beans are among my favorite vegetables. Grandma always grew enough that there were jars and jars of canned green beans and fruits and jams and jellies that she had grown in that big garden kept on the shelves on the back porch. Those would feed us all winter. And even today, as I relate this story to you, I still feel the joy I had planting those beans, the excitement I felt watching them grow. Every day as I got off that school bus, I ran to my little garden to check on them, even before I went in the house. Oh, I felt such pride in my accomplishments. I love the smell of the earth and the dirt under my fingernails. And even today, more than 65 years later, I'm so happy when I think of this connection. That connection I had with Mother Earth, Mother Nature. And I'm so very grateful for my Grandma Ninas for giving that to me. I realize the importance of planting, nurturing, and harvesting, of planning for something to come, and for the anticipation of what will be. As I've reflected on this over the years, especially when I was planting my own home gardens, I remember Grandma hunched over, straddling the rows of vegetables as she pulled the weeds, using her hoe, thinning the carrots, and then harvesting what she had grown. That's the important part, I think, the harvest. Spring looks forward to that harvest. Spring trusts that the harvest will come, that the things planted will grow and thrive. Anticipation of new growth and continuity. For farmers as well as home gardeners, spring is that time to prepare the fields and sow the seeds, time to plan for the future, to think about what will grow, how many, and where to make it happen. Today, there are many garden centers and markets teeming with vegetable starts and flowers. Seed catalogs and seed packets are found in many stores. This is the time of the season where there are many ways to make a garden, to grow something, taking a few hours from the busy day-to-day work and school and chores, to dig a little hole in the earth with a little shovel and to cultivate something, or to make a raised bed for your beans, or to put a potted plant in the window. Those could be some of the most important ways to recognize the season of growing. This time to look at what the future will bring. Now, it may seem that these little things are insignificant, but they're often a big part of what lots of people do every spring. The little rituals that say, hey, something's growing here. Rituals are an important part of our lives, and rituals done in community bring community together. They don't have to be religious, but often are spiritual in nature. There are many ways to open the door and let the spring sunshine in, to toast the warmer days ahead. So you say, what does all this have to do with growing a garden and how that garden grows? What about those who don't have time or energy or space to grow something? Perhaps there are folks here who are avid gardeners with beautiful flowers blooming all through the spring and summer and into the autumn. Perhaps there are some folks here who depend on growing vegetables to supplement what they purchase at the grocery store. Perhaps there are even some master gardeners here who demonstrate gardening techniques for others through the state agriculture programs. Perhaps there are folks here who have a small window garden or only a special potted plant. And perhaps there are folks here who would not touch a spade or ever get dirt under their fingernails. Your garden could be very real, growing a variety of delicious foods, beautiful flowers, or trees for shade and protection. Your garden could be figurative, growing your knowledge, your skills, and your abilities to give back to the community you live in, to advance your career, or to offer wisdom to other generations. Now, your garden could be a few acres out in the countryside, or maybe a raised bed in your backyard, or that single rose bush next to the driveway, or even that potted plant in your living room. Your garden could be a collection of books in your library, things that you love to read. It could be the paintings and the artwork that you hang on your walls, or the music you play on your patio, on your guitar, on a warm summer night. Whatever shape your garden takes, spring is the time to make some plans, to plant some seeds, to think about what you want to grow in your life, time to reflect and look to the future. What will the harvest bring? You can look at those resolutions that were made at the new year, or the promises you made in the dark of winter, or even the hopes that you imagined for a new year. Take a few moments. Evaluate how far you've come in the past few months. Have you started to work on those goals? What steps have you taken so far? Reevaluate and change course if you need to, or add to what has been done so far. It's possible to decide to grow something else, to plant some new seeds, to plow under the old and make a new garden. That's what's great about new beginnings. We get to shape what comes next, and this is the perfect time to make the changes that we need. if we think about what spring will bring and how the balance comes into play, we might find ourselves wanting to celebrate somehow. The equinox just a few weeks ago, and the scales have begun to tip once again more towards the light, more towards time in each day to get things done, more time to play, more time to relax. If you haven't looked in the dusty drawers or in the back of the cupboards, spring is the perfect time for cleaning and then growing. So I challenge you to plant something for yourself. It might be the same or similar to what you planted last year because it's what you love. It might be something completely new and exciting. It might even be an actual seed that you put into the earth to grow a plant or a tree or a flower. Or it might be an idea, a thought, a dream, something intangible that may be worth striding for. It might be an heirloom or a hybrid, hopefully non-GMO. Or it may be the seed from something you grew last year and you want to nourish it again. Whatever garden you plant, or whatever seeds you grow, know that they will ripen and be ready for harvest. Again, that's what spring is all about. It's the promise that something will be harvested. You only need to nurture what you hope for, and what you dream will come. Please, do take some time to make a little plan. Clear your plot with your little plastic shovel and go for it. Plan for it, figuratively or literally. How will your garden grow? There's no better time than now. Take a moment, please, to think about balance and growth. Finding balance in your day, your year, your life is often a challenge. For positive growth, there needs to be some semblance of balance. If you would, for just a few moments, give yourself permission just now to imagine. Imagine how you would find balance. How would your garden grow the things you really, really want from today going forward? Imagine how that would feel. How would it look to you? How would it look to your family, to your friends? Imagine what the world would be if we could have all that we need, all that anyone needs to grow, to be strong, and be happy. Breathe in deeply and breathe out. Go forward and grow. You're never too old or too young. Thank you.
We give because we are part of this community, a community of music and love and kindness and learning, holiness and peace. We give to remind ourselves of the many blessings, and because by sharing those blessings, we help to make sure, or at least hope, that everyone has enough. This month, our Share the Plate recipient is the minister's discretionary fund. Our minister, Reverend Monica Jacobson-Tennyson, uses this fund to help members and friends of UUCS who find themselves in need of financial support or assistance. We also support the Marion Polk Food Share, and donations can be made in the Little Red Wagon at the front of the sanctuary. Donations can be made during the passing of the baskets or by using the QR code that's in your handout, or through our website, which is uusalem.org. Thank you so much for your generosity. Next Sunday, I'm excited for this, I really am. Reverend Mary Gear, some of you may remember Mary Gear. She was an intern here. She was also our choir director for a while. She's a long time association with us here, and she's going to come down, and she's going to be here for next week giving, and her talk is going to be the space in between. Liminal, I was going to read that, John. Liminal space, a sacred space of uncertainty and possibility. What does our theology tell us about how to live in that space? Okay, thank you. Following today's service, there is a board forum. It's starting at noon here in the sanctuary. And today they'll be talking about bylaws revisions. So this is a time when you can ask questions or make comments, and you can go ahead and bring your snacks and coffee with you. Please be careful. The carpet's fairly new, and we want to kind of keep it that way. So Family Promise is here. Yay, Family Promise. So because that takes up a lot of the RE classroom space, there will be no LRE program on the 13th and the 20th. So just be mindful of that if you're parents. And we'll still have the Cozy Corner, so good with that. The Easter egg hunt is April 19th. You can find out more about that, again, using the QR code or going to uusalem.org. That's a lot. But there's a lot more. And some of it's on the back of your program. Some of it you'll have to go to the website. And hopefully you are getting the email every week and the newsletter every month. If you're not, sign up. We're not going to charge you for that. It's all free and we want you to participate. So there's so much going on in this community. I really encourage you to do that. To sign up, just either go to the QR code or call the office or send them an email or walk in here during office hours, whatever works for you. Whew, I think I got through it all. So Arrhiannon is going to help us today by lighting the social justice lantern. We light the lamp from our community chalice because it's a reminder of our commitment to support all peoples as we strive for social justice and fair treatment for everyone, no exceptions. And now it's time for us to extinguish our chalices. We're going to release the warmth and light and love of the flames so you can carry them in your heart. May the energy and brightness lighten your burdens through the coming week and bring you hope and joy until we are together again.
Please join me in singing the closing hymn in the gray hymnal, number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. Rise in body or spirit as you're able. Number 21.
Mostly standing. If you feel comfortable, please join hands with your neighbor and join in saying our closing words. May faith in the spirit of life, hope for the community of earth, and love for the sacred in one another be ours now and in all the days to come. Blessed be. Thank you.